Start.
Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are looking at Osso Bucco or beef shank. And so, well, in this case beef, but shank. So the shank is the tough part of the leg where they cut cross-sectionally like this. And so you get, as we can see, a bone surrounded by some muscle. And this has obviously been trimmed because it's right to the bone on this end. Probably there was a little muscle around it. In this case, beef. Now, normally this is pretty tough. This actually feels like a pretty tender piece, actually. But normally it's pretty tough. But this is going to be my dinner. And you'll see that because we cut out the bone, we have bone marrow. And a lot of recipes, in fact, all the recipes I've seen online, talk about cooking this and cooking it with the bone marrow in. I don't want to do that because I know that if I heat this, the bone marrow is going to melt and the fat's going to come out. And yes, you might get meat cooked in fat, but you lose a lot of the bone marrow. So the first thing I'm going to recommend that everyone should do is they should go through. Now if you're worried about the edge of this being contaminated, we can scrape off the outer edge very quickly first if you want, and just throw that away. If you're worried about germs on the outer edge of the bone marrow, I usually pull it out first and then cut off the end. But anyway, I'm not sure how this is going to cut out yet. I haven't tried. So as you can see though, this is the bone marrow, and depending on how deep it goes and the cut of the bone and everything else, it might be hard to get out, it might be easy. This one's not coming out easy at all, but that's okay. There's some bone marrow. I'm going to get as much as I can of the bone marrow out. And except for the edge on both sides, which again, if I scrape that off, I can maybe toss that little edge part that might be contaminated. Fat doesn't contaminate easily right throughout. It doesn't rot really very easily. So we're good with this. I'm just going to scrape all of this bone marrow I can out. And yeah, it's just the shape of this bone, and the knife isn't the best for this, but that's okay. You'll see I'm getting all this bone marrow out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this bone marrow. And I'm going to eat, well, the edges I'm going to throw away, like I said, right, just to be extra safe. But I'm going to save all of this bone marrow for afterwards. And once I'm done cooking it, I'm going to just sprinkle this back on. There we go. And there you can see the bone marrow is out. Right? We have a big hole in the middle now where the bone marrow used to be. And I can use these bones to make bone broth or give them to my dog after. And here's the bone marrow. Delicious, actually. Wow. Maybe delicious isn't the right word, but it's just fine tasting. And I'm going to save that. When this is cooked, I will put this off on the side and use it like a bit of a garnish. And now in terms of cooking this, since it's a relatively tough cut normally, we're going to slow cook it. And so I have my standard Instapot, which I love. You can see I just put a little bit of water in. Again, I don't want to boil, I just want to steam it. So I'm going to throw this in for, I don't know exactly, probably an hour and a half in the Instapot on pressure cook. And that will soften it up, and then it will be just like a roast essentially, except a smaller version, which I can mix with the very, very healthy bone marrow. And of course, if you didn't know, and you probably do, but if you didn't, right, all the fat-soluble vitamins are in the fat, and the bone marrow has the most of them. So that's why eating bone marrow is such a good idea for your health. Okay, we'll come back and look at this at the end when it's cooked, but that's it for now. Thanks. So our shank steak has been in the Instapot pressure cooker for about 90 minutes, and you can see the bone fell right off essentially. Just about nothing could stay on the bone, so a little bit of fat there. But this is relatively lean meat, but because we pressure cooked it, you can see it just flakes apart. Super nice. Just like a roast would. And so there's our shank steak, or Osso Bucco, whichever one you want to call it. And this is going to be awesome. Now this is relatively lean, other than the bone marrow, which I'm going to add. And so I'm just going to have a little bit of bone marrow with every bite that I take, just to give it flavor and make it look delicious, or make it taste delicious. So that's it. This is going to be a great dinner for me. I'm looking forward to this. Looks yummy. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. We got a lot of special treats coming up in the near future, so I think you'll like some of the ones we're going to be doing. Bye for now.